Chapter 11, Extreme Heat. Second day of the apocalypse. The temperature continued to rise, turning the entire city into a deserted place. Everyone stayed indoors, and air conditioners ran at full capacity. Occasional people ventured outside, even when fully equipped with sun-protective clothing and umbrellas, they still got sunburned. They could only endure a few minutes before retreating back to their residential buildings. The number of heatstroke cases continued to rise, and hospitals were overwhelmed. The government implemented emergency measures, suspending operations at all factories and enterprises except for essential ones, and providing all available electricity to civilian use. Even so, public sentiment continued to boil on the internet. Not only was it scorching during the day, but the nighttime temperature didn't decrease much either. It had gone down from over 50 degrees to around 40 degrees, and everyone believed environmental degradation was to blame. Zhongran ignored the happenings outside. Except for occasionally checking the messages in the homeowners group, she spent her time training and practicing. Third day. After finishing her training, Zhongran sat in the living room, panting for breath. Suddenly, a series of alert sounds came from her homeowners group. She picked up her phone and checked. The temperature had surpassed 60 degrees Celsius and had reached 61 degrees. Seeing the temperature displayed in the picture, Zhongran was surprised. How could it have crossed 60 degrees so quickly in her previous life? It took over a week for the temperature to go beyond 60 degrees after reaching the 50s. Could this difference be due to the geographical location? If so, would mutant creatures appear earlier, and what kind of mutants would they be in this city at this moment? There were more new messages in the homeowners group. Does anyone in the group know how to repair air conditioners? My air conditioner isn't cooling anymore, and enduring like this is unbearable. The group fell silent for a moment before the homeowner continued. Is anyone there? I can pay, 500 or even 1,000 is fine. Still, no one responded. The homeowner continued to spam the group with messages, and someone finally replied. Bro, it's normal for the air conditioning not to cool right now. The outside temperature is 60 degrees. So the cooling effect wouldn't be significant even if it's working properly. Even if it's really broken, with such high temperatures outside, no one would risk their life to repair it for you. That's right, money isn't as important as life. You should think of other solutions. The underground parking garage is pretty cool. I think we can go down there. This message resonated with homeowners, and messages started rapidly pouring in. Hehe, we've already gone down. During the day, it's hot outside. But the basement is not only cool, but it also saves on electricity bills. The garage must be hot too, right? Even if it's hot, it's better than inside. The hallway isn't bad either, especially the stairwell where the sun can't reach. Damn! You guys are sneaky, not telling anyone about such a good place. It won't be cool with so many people. Seeing the messages in the group, many people started moving to the underground area. Zhongran put away her phone, walked into the kitchen, and started preparing dinner. Perhaps due to her improved physical condition, she had become more heat-resistant. While others found it unbearable, she was coping relatively well. For dinner, she prepared braised beef with potatoes, a plate of stir-fried vegetables, and a seaweed and egg drop soup. Just as she was about to start eating, the room suddenly dimmed. The power went out. Swearing filled the residential complex as people released the frustration that had been building up over the past few days. Zhongran walked to the living room in the dark, switched to battery power, and the room lit up again. Lights appeared in a few units across the way. After dinner, Zhongran checked the anti-theft door, locked it, and slid the door bolt into place. Lacking a sense of security, she had changed all the locks in her apartment to explosion-proof ones after renting it. Unless someone used a chainsaw, breaking in with sheer physical force was impossible. She locked the main door and drew the curtains shut before returning to her bedroom. She sat cross-legged on the bed and began her cultivation. She trained in the first half of the night and slept in the second half to recharge. Without the vibrant neon lights, the city at night was pitch black, as if she had returned to an era where darkness ruled, and survival of the fittest was the law. With no air conditioning to provide coolness, indoor temperatures rose quickly. Homeowners had to move their families to cooler areas like stairwells or the underground parking garage. The elevators had backup power and were still operational. "Honey, let's bring down the dry food. The high temperature will cause it to spoil. We can leave the fridge alone. It can insulate, so it should last a while." "Sure, okay." In their cozy home, every word spoken by the woman received a quick response from the man, who immediately took action. Not long after, the woman came out of the house, sweating profusely. The man carried a bulging backpack on his back, but the weight was effortless for him. The woman had a smaller bag on her back as well, and they both left the house. They took the elevator to the underground parking garage, where it was much cooler. "Sweetie, let's settle here. Our car is nearby. If you feel cold, you can sleep in the car." "Okay." The woman nodded. They placed their backpacks in the car and then went back upstairs to bring down a sleeping mat. Inside the spacious garage, people felt the long-lost coolness. Groups of 3 to 5 gathered, chatting together. Some even brought sleeping mats and blankets, as well as brooms, mosquito repellent, and insect repellent lotion. The man and woman found a spot near a black car. "Sweetie, let's stay here. Our car is nearby. If you feel cold, you can sleep in the car." "Okay." The woman nodded. They placed their backpacks in the car and then went back upstairs to bring down a sleeping mat. Inside the spacious garage, people felt the long-lost coolness. Groups of 3 to 5 gathered, chatting together. Some even brought sleeping mats and blankets, as well as brooms, mosquito repellent, and insect repellent lotion. As they chatted, they began discussing the ongoing heatwave. "Have you guys watched the news? It's a worldwide heatwave. Countries abroad are in chaos. There are riots, looting, and even murders and arson happening in many places. Not just abroad, even the whole West is like that. It's really frightening. If this heatwave continues, I'm afraid we won't be far behind." Everyone sighed in unison. Despite the worsening situation, people still had faith in the government and the country. They hadn't considered the possibility of the apocalypse and were merely venting their frustration due to boredom.